And we are live for episode 81 of the Next Report. This first hangout we've had in few months, and this one's going to be rather short because I'm working overtime again.
You're crazy, man.
Apparently I am. Shaggy is now a software developer, and and he moved to Columbia, Missouri. First of all, how did the move go, and did you finally get your car sold?
No, I still haven't gotten my car sold. I was talking to a guy a little while ago, trying to get rid of it. He tried to offer me $500. I told him no. I was like, no, it's worth a lot more than that. I know, but the move went fairly well. It was really quick and unexpected because I got the timing of the job offer, and graduation, and everything else. So it was really rapid. We got moved up here a week ago from yesterday. We got everything packed and moved up here, and I started last week on Wednesday. So today marks my first actual full week of work. And there's been some training, and there was a lot of meet and greet. So like the team that I'm part of, we handle, it's called payment services. So we handle like payments and stuff like that for people's insurance plans. And there's a couple of big projects going on right now. They're converting from like some old COBOL stuff and stuff like that. And I haven't really got a chance to get my feet wet yet. I've been spending a lot of my time just talking with people, going out to lunch here and there. And, I get my first paycheck. It's Thursday, so I get my last paycheck from Walmart. At the same time, I get my first paycheck from my new job. So,
and
nice.
And I'm assuming that you're no longer able to log into Walmart1.com, right?
As of this like Sunday, no, I cannot. So I can't check to see exactly how much I'm getting, which it's going to be very little. I took a lot of time off, so either way,
right.
In the 3 days that I worked at my new job, it's going to be the same amount as a normal paycheck would have been for Walmart. So,
right, like, but yeah, I saw and I saw stuff getting moved out of the apartment in question. I was like, oh my, it was just because. My normal habit is that after getting back from work, I just sit in the car for a few minutes. Okay, several minutes, and then finally I get the will to get out of the car and go inside, and all of that. So, so everything just kind of fell into place. That is actually awesome, and I'm actually kind of jealous that you already had internet already, because your place already.
Yeah, it was included in the rent. It took me a couple days to get it set up. Really, it was actually kind of a bitch to get it set up. But, this Facebook. I'm going to show, I'll go ahead and show this on here in a second too. I was going to share a picture of my desk at work, so that way you can see it's locked, so there's nothing that anybody's going to see that's crazy. So.
Oh, okay.
So I'll show that here in a second. But so far, like the weirdest thing that I find transitioning from my previous job, school, and then the new job, right now I have so much free time that I haven't had in forever. So like right now, like I got off work at 4:30 this afternoon. I spent 30 minutes. I cooked myself a steak. I haven't had a steak for a while, so I cooked myself a steak. I played Minecraft for like an hour and a half. I haven't unpacked much. Like, I mean, I showed you earlier.
Right.
I won't show everybody else, but there's a bunch of crap over here. There's just stuff that I haven't messed with yet. Oh, yeah, picture. Um, but it's been really weird. I had to adjust to traffic. Traffic's like totally different than Warrensburg is, and I came from a little, really small town called Osceola. If you guys are not familiar with that, it's like 800 people. My graduating class had 4 people in it. So I'm going to share my screen here if I'll get to do it. Hey, buddy.
All right.
Okay, it's not wanting to cooperate for some reason. I don't know where the hell it went.
And I'm assuming they gave you a comfy chair and everything else to sit in.
It's a really nice desk chair. The sides, they adjust up and down. I can adjust it specifically. Like this chair that I have for my room, it's a desk chair, but it's not. It doesn't have as many features as my desk chair. It doesn't work. Like I can pull the one at work out and then like lean it back so far and then lock it in place. I can rotate it and all kinds of other cool stuff. Let me see if I can get this freaking picture up here. Why is that? There used to be like a little sidebar in Google Hangouts. What happened to that?
Mine shows up still, but then again,
is it because I've got something going on? Is it a new version of Chrome that I'm using or something?
don't know. In all fairness, though I'm a subscriber to WWE Network, I have to switch to Firefox on my platform of choice just to watch it, because the version of Flash that is on Chrome apparently does not play nicely with it.
I wonder if it has anything to do with Google dropping support for Java applets as well. Because with the latest release of like 42 something,
yeah,
they dropped support for Java applets.
Because, well, and apparently that WWE uses the same method of delivery as like Major League Baseball and I think a few others.
Oh, really?
So it's like at some point, hopefully they'll move to HTML5, because there's the whole protected content module that Firefox now even has because of that.
Yeah, I'm just going to show it on my phone and maybe blur it.
All right.
There we go. It's better than I thought it was going to be. That's a picture of my desk. I got dual monitors, got a mouse and all kinds of stuff.
That is pretty nifty.
It's very handy for doing multiple things at once. Like if I needed to, I was doing a bunch of reading on one side, and then on the other side, I was doing playing around for a few things here and there.
So have you gotten to look at any coding yet, or
a little bit? A little bit.
Not
much. Not too much of their code specifically. I've done. They have their own system for like repositories and stuff like that. A bunch of their own built-in tools, which is pretty cool. Wait, come here. And he's being honored today. He's a puppy. Say hi, everybody.
hello?
And, yeah, they've got a bunch of their own tools, their own Git repository and stuff like that. They've been converting a lot of things over from like a bunch of COBOL modules, and they used to have a bunch of stuff that was still in assembler that's still being in use right now. A bunch of stuff that's in COBOL is being in use. They've worked on converting some things over, but not everything. So I already know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be adding a little feature here in one of the internal site pages that insurance agents use. So I've already got some work to do.
And what specific, is there a specific IDE environment you're using? Are you using like Eclipse, or is it just?
It's Eclipse. For what they use, they have to use Eclipse because of their build systems and stuff like that. A lot of the other employees there prefer IntelliJ. I personally prefer IntelliJ as well. I feel like it's a little more well-rounded. I think the features are probably about the same, but I think it's easier to use. Eclipse is just seems clunky and old, and it hasn't just. I mean, it's been updated, but it hasn't, like, the interface is not kind of changed with the times and stuff like that. I mean, it was in use all the way back in 2000. So.
Oh yeah, and you're and is it on? Are they developing on Windows machines basically, or?
That I don't know. Like the development machines, the one that developers use, like myself and the analysts, we are working on Windows, but I don't know what the production environment is. I think it's Linux, but I don't know. Know. I'm not exposed to that information.
Wow. Okay. So, and so far everything seems to be, hey, this is the kind of get to know each other phase, and then you're getting to know what they're doing and all of that. So you, similar to me, you had some challenges setting up internet. What all did you have to do?
Well, the situation for me is that the internet is included in the rent of my place. I'm staying in a 4-bedroom like townhome, so the internet's actually pretty good. But to set it up, it was really annoying since it was included. It's what MediaCom calls a tenant account. And since I can't pay for it, they have to bill it differently. And the manager of the place actually takes care of the bill. The company that owns the property is the one that actually pays it. Hey, get your butt over here. Sorry,
okay.
In the butt today. Come here. Turd. And so I had to go talk to. First, I talked to her. I got in contact with her to see if like what I needed to do to set up the internet. And she basically told me, which gave me the idea that she has no clue what she's doing for that. She's just like, "Oh, it should be just fine. You just plug in. You just need your own equipment." I was like, "I have that." And so I tried hooking it up. Didn't work. So I called MediaCom. Got a hold of the main office or something, which I think it's in like Springfield or something like that. For the region that we're in, and they were saying, "Oh, well, the previous people have an account, so you have to go to the local store and then remove the previous account and create the account in your own name." So I went there, and they never actually created the account. So I got back home, the internet was still not working. So I got a hold of them and said, "Hey, my internet's not working. I need to set it up." It's like, "Oh, it's funny that they didn't actually create an account for you." I mean, so, I mean, it was jumping through a bunch of hoops. It wasn't necessarily a lot of work. It was just frustrating and tedious. But I did manage to get it set up, and I did a couple of speed tests here and there, and it's 60 megabits a second, or no, 30 megabits. I was used to get 60 in my old place.
So you're about half the speed, but is it more reliable, or?
So far, it seems very reliable. I haven't seen any changes in the speed. It's fairly stable. The only fluctuation between the two tests, or the couple of tests that I run, was maybe 3 to 4 megabits a second.
So it's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
I've actually been debating on whether I should just switch back to Charter or not, because right now, while Charter was down, CenturyLink was still up and running, and
Really?
all of that. And I'm like, well, on the one hand, I don't like having to rent a modem every month. On the other hand, and having limited speed, but on the other hand, despite it being a pain getting it to work in the first place because you have to talk to a bunch of people, and everything else, all of a sudden, boom. When it works, it just works well. It stays running. And were it not for the fact that the technician in question told me that any attempts to upgrade speed will probably fail because I think something about the last mile infrastructure or something like that, the wires in the ground and all of that are too old to support that strong of a signal. Mm-hmm. So, and everything else. And I asked him, so 10 is as good as it's going to get? And he's like, yeah, pretty much.
What about kind of cables are you running? Is it just like copper cables? Or?
Yeah, because according to the website, I qualify for as high as 25. And they told me the process over the phone that it would involve, they would do the whole copper bonding, blah, 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 new modem, because what I have would not support that high of a speed anyway.
You're probably running like DOCSIS 1. DOCSIS 1 is very limited on DOCSIS speed. I think the one I have is a DOCSIS 2. I'm not 100% sure. You actually probably see a little bit of it in the window there.
Right.
I used to have a when I was doing the 60 megabits. To get that, you actually have to have a DOCSIS 3 modem to be able to go past 30 megabits a second.
Oh yeah.
That'll allow you to go all the way up to 100 and even farther. I don't know what the limit on it is. I know there's higher standards now, but I don't know what the most popular standard is at the moment. And a lot of people, if you're going faster than that, you probably got like a fiber network or something like that.
I know that in some addresses on the outskirts or right outside Warrensburg, I had somebody claim to me that according to CenturyLink's website, they qualify for as high as a gigabit per second. I'm like, and they are telling me that they must be laying down new fiber in that area or something. I don't know.
Yeah. For that kind of signal, they have to have a fiber network. I don't know, like, what kind of a receiver you would have. If it's like a digital receiver, or if you have to have like a modem of some sort. That I don't know. I know for cable internet, you need a modem, and then DSL internet's different.
It is a specific type of modem that connects, to your phone line. In my case, it's a combination of a modem and a router because anymore you don't have a standalone DSL modem. They just integrate it directly into a wireless router.
Yeah.
Which the thing is actually decent. It's a ZYXEL or something like that, which I've seen hotspot or network names by that name at my place of employment, and so I'm assuming that it's kind of it's a company that makes these things that you may find in businesses small and large. So so far that thing performs pretty well. Every now and then, rarely, if ever, I have to reboot it, and that's it. It's fairly reliable. So, and I like the idea of dedicated bandwidth. On the other hand, if I go to their 100 megabits per second tier, I know I won't be, I won't drop too much below that because they'll ensure that it doesn't. Because that's part of the reason why you have to pay that, extra fee in the beginning, because they have to do something to where they do monitor your connection, but they do it to make sure you're not dropping down. You get a higher priority because you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Their quality of service and all of that good stuff. So you're now a Java developer. What is you said Columbia? What's the traffic light? Is it insane like Warrensburg? More insane?
It's more insane. People drive a lot quicker. And I noticed that the most when I went out to eat with my supervisor. because some of the meet and greet stuff has been going on. You sit with them in their cubicle and whatnot. I have my own cubicle. I have my own nameplate and everything. But you normally just meet with them in their cubicle. Then they've also been scheduling like lunch times. You go eat lunch with this person on this day and this person on this day. And like the second day, I was supposed to go eat with my supervisor. So we went and ate like some Mexican food. And on our way there, he drove like freaking crazy, like compared to what I'm used to. It was just ridiculous.
And I'm guessing you have to in some cases, or you're going to get hit.
Yeah. If you don't adapt to the traffic here, then yeah, you won't get hit. I would say that Kansas City is not like what it is here, and I thought Kansas City driving was pretty crazy, but here it's like you're in Kansas. Kansas drivers are nuts. I went to Topeka once. I've experienced that. Oh yeah, in Kansas, you're nuts.
Wow. And by the way, I still have to find a monitor for this Pi, and I should have a keyboard and mouse for it and power supply easily. But I do plan on setting that up maybe on this desk to my right at some point. And everything came in for that Dell tower to upgrade. So if you run into if you are needing any AGP cards at some point, let me know, because I finally found that Rage Theater card that was inside that NVIDIA box. I found the actual NVIDIA card that it came in, and I think it will not go in that Dell. The guy has some more for me, and I don't think I have any machines that can handle a Quadro at the moment.
Oh, really?
Like I could try putting it in this one. The power supply is not going to be enough for it. I already know that.
What kind of a Quadro is it? Do you know? What generation?
FX 4500. I looked it up. It is no slouch. I think it only has 512 RAM in it, but it's one of those where you can do SLI on it if you have the second card. And I have a feeling if I go down to Holden and get the rest of the stuff from him, that it's probably going to be a second one of those. I wouldn't be surprised. The guy was a fervent believer in upgrading everything he had, so I still have to go through it. I still have to arrange stuff and everything else too, and I finally figured out probably where I'm going to have a storage area of sorts, and it's probably going to be by the attic door. Not completely blocking it off, but having stuff in front of the walkway of the attic door, so that, well, so basically I don't have to, because I'm not going to be using that space very much anyway, so that I can set up more workstations and such where all these boxes are sitting now, and everything else. So right, the guy apparently dabbled in programming too. There's an old Borland C++ bundle where you're learning how to do it. I think C or C++. I'd have to look at it again. And I'm like, whoa. And he's like, I haven't done any programming in years. I haven't dabbled in that in years, but I'm like, wow. My Nostalgia, I tried to install Office XP on my Nostalgia machine, except I had to order a new one of these, because this disk, if you can see, there's a big gash right there.
Oh yeah, I do see it. Wow, that's nice.
And I'm not going to. I am not going to attempt to repair it at this point, because I don't think it will do me any good. And it arrived, except the guy forgot to ship the main disc, which was mainly what I was needing. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll just have 2 licenses instead. and now I can no longer get automatic updates on Windows XP, so because their support ended.
Yeah,
so,
their support ended. What was it? April of 2014.
Yeah. So I would have to any of the other quote unquote updates, I would have to manually get. But mainly it's driver updates would be the only thing. And I think any and all drivers would be the latest at this point. Had to order some Rambus RAM, and hopefully, one of my dear neighbor's machines runs Rambus as well. I can't believe I have a neighbor that only runs 512, so on their system. But
In RAM?
yeah.
What
it's
operating system?
XP, but Firefox, multiple tabs, and Facebook, that's just...
Sounds like a disaster.
Well, yeah, and
I have the system. I'm on my desktop right now. That probably is obvious. I don't know, but it's got 8 gigs, and I've managed to fill it up before. So, I mean, granted, I'm a power user, and sometimes I have a shit ton of things open all at once. But
oh, absolutely. But this desktop, hopefully the RAM sticks work. I looked, they were all consistent looking, so I'm like, okay, that'll help, and they'll be the same, because RD RAM, if you try to get the higher speed and go as high as like 2 gigabytes, it'll go to the speed of RD PC 800. So I'm just going to get the PC 800 because it's pointless going to the higher speed sticks, because that's going to only stay that speed for a certain amount of memory anyway. So I'm like, well, and the only upgrade I could get for video card, it has to be a lower profile video card because of the type of case that Dell is.
Is it like kind of like an HTPC case, a low, what are they called? Little tiny like desktop workstations, but they're desktop, or what is it? I can't think of it.
No, it's that I don't think it's not that it's full desktop, but the way I think part of the reason is the way the case is designed and the limits of that particular power supply anyhow.
Yeah.
Will not, probably will not be able to power a full-on graphics card at, because I'm just like, well, maybe that NVIDIA card I can put in there, until I saw the little power connector at the end of the video card. I'm like, no, probably not. So, because I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh, so I have to put a power connector onto this thing from the power supply, just to, as yeah, probably will not be able to use that card.
Yeah, I'll show you mine real quick. I'll show everybody as well. I actually managed to get the PC turned around so you can see inside it now. But right there, you're staring at the video card.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the other right, those 2 cables right there, there's 2 of them. It's 2 PCI 8-pin cables. Each, let me see, how was it? Okay, the slot on the board for PCI Express revision 2.0, I don't think 3.0 changed much, but the actual slot on the board can supply 75 watts of power. And then each 8-pin, I think it's each 6-pin connector can provide another 75 watts. So I think overall that should be providing 250 to 300 watts of power to that graphics card. The graphics card is rated for it recommends at least a 500 watt power supply. I'm running a 700 watt, and I actually had to downclock the video card because it was running too much power. So
wow.
yeah, well, and the power supply didn't come with two 8-pin connectors. It only came with an 8-pin and a 6-pin. So I was able to buy an adapter for the 6-pin connector to turn it into an 8-pin because it just uses a couple of the grounds again. It just supplies the same amount of power, so it's supplying less power. And if it's trying to like run too much, like you leave it at stock clock, it's trying to draw more power than is available, and it'll shut the system off. It crashed my PC. So.
Oh my! So you're going to keep upgrading, or are you just going to build a whole new tower with your new amount of pay, or are you waiting to see what's going to happen?
I don't know yet. I've been thinking that I might go ahead and just get liquid cooling for this machine, and then I might replace the case. No, I want to keep the case, but at the same time, I want this like desk. It's a kind of like a test bench. If you're familiar with what test benches are, you can mount the motherboard instead of mounting it sideways on the wall. You can mount it flat, parallel with the floor, and it's a box, so it's like kind of like the size of a monitor. It's about this tall, that tall, and it supports full-size video cards. I could put quad crossfire in it if I wanted. I don't think I'll go that crazy. That's a lot of money. I can't even afford that.
Right.
But I'm thinking about replacing the motherboard, power supply, and processor, and get liquid cooling.
All right. Now, yeah, at some point I may just get some super big badass system, but for now, I've been noticing that, and like I said, it's weird how this happened. Like the moment I come back to Warrensburg, all of a sudden, hey, here's some stuff I don't need anymore. Would you like it? and having to buy a 50-gallon storage bin just to be able to get the rest of it up here and all of that. So I'm actually considering going to Simple PC's website, ordering an $89 system, seeing what it's capable of, and if it turns out that it is capable of having any of the parts that I've got for upgrades, I'd have to put the innards in a new case because the way they design their cases, which are basically from recycled materials, you don't have access to the PCI slots, which is understandable. The whole point is to recycle, be as efficient as possible. But so the first one or two, I probably would be voiding a warranty on, which is fine. They're only $89. And they come with Ubuntu by default. And I showed it to my dear friend Chris Young, who's the one that's running 512 on a stopgap system that he's been using for the last 3 years.
I remember him telling me about that PC.
Oh my God. I'm like, well, tell you what. And like I said, I told him, hey, tell you what, why don't you find out if that runs RAM as RAM? If it does, I'm upgrading a tower I have with it. If it does run that, well, I'll probably have some sticks you might be able to throw in there.
Well, upgrading a current PC with more RAM is very easy. Anyone can really do it because for a lot of production mainstream PCs, you just pop off the side panel. You usually don't have to move anything else out of the way, and you just click a couple of sticks in there and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Keyboard usually.
This Dell system, you have to pop the two buttons on the back end, on the top and bottom, and then you can just kind of slide the case open. I forgot about that. I'm like, oh yeah, I was shown this in a CIS course once, and I was like, yes, that is actually pretty nifty. That was back when Dells were a little bit more easy to upgrade, at least enterprise-wide. Now it's just, I don't know. I haven't encountered them since, but yeah, I just, because like I want to push old hardware as far as it will go. I've still got to test that 250 gig hard drive, which I didn't get a chance to do because I stayed up really late and then took a nap. And one, I had to pay the remainder of the postage, and which they didn't make sure there was enough postage on it, so they kind of messed up. Mistake number one. Mistake number two, they put a sticky label on the underside of the hard drive.
I saw a picture about that. Yeah, that's.
I mean, which I looked online. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you're, say, doing the whole Velcro thing and things like that, but I'm assuming it's a good idea to keep it away from the integrated circuits on the bottom, which none of the residue got on as far as I know. It's just, it's annoying to get that. It's annoying to get it off. And I know, I'm assuming this person was selling a bunch of stuff on, organized on pallets and everything else. One of those mass sellers on eBay that, I guess gathers up a bunch of stuff or whatever, for whatever reason, however, and then they sell it. I don't know. But if it works, I'll contact the seller directly and say, look, here's the deal. I got it. It works. But a couple things. One, you did not have enough postage on there. I had to pay $1.15. Those small, that's kind of annoying because that caused it to get here a little bit later because they couldn't leave it behind since postage was still due on it. Two, please do not put any more sticky labels on the undersides of these things. They're annoying to get off, and residue that gets on the integrated circuits may actually wind up harming them when the hard drive heats up when it's operating. It's, you can easily put like a label on a piece of like cardboard like paper. I'm trying to think of the proper term for it. The non-corrugated like coated cardboard or whatever, and then put it on the underside of the hard drive so nothing's sticking there, so that you can still organize your inventory efficiently. Or hell, just stick it on the anti-static bag, because I'm not, personally, I wouldn't care as much if it was on that anti-static bag because you can easily mark it out with a Sharpie. Not a big deal. And then see how they respond. But other than that, things have gone smoothly, and I should have gotten that other disc by now. That other seller apologized. Friend of mine told me when it comes to eBay, be very forgiving. Otherwise, they'll complain about you on eBay, and you'll have to deal with them. It's a hassle. So
I ordered one hard drive off of eBay a long time ago it's for that system that you have now, that gateway. I ordered that 20 gig hard drive because I think I was having issues with that other hard drive, and I can't even remember why. But
right.
I gave it to you, and you said it still works. And for me, it just worked depending on the day. And I don't know what's going on with it. So I went ahead and ordered that other one. I bought it for like $10, an IDE hard drive. Just threw it in there and ran a couple different operating systems. It ran okay, but it was given to me for free, so I didn't lose anything out of giving it away. So,
right.
And now I've got that compact Armada that I told you about, that M700. It's an old workstation, and then
right.
that I still have. I just need to fix the fan on it. I got to order a fan. Now I've got to order a fan for this one from my mom, because I gave this one to my mother. It was a HP that was given to me from a friend of mine. And, the fan quit working on it. So
you tend to pay it forward a lot on stuff like that.
I get lucky from a lot of friends.
Right.
Most people are like, "Hey, you like computers?" I'm like, yeah. you want this? Sure. So I get a lot of hand-me-downs, and then I usually bite the bullet and pay for a bunch of stuff. And I'm spending a lot of money on some things here and there. Usually try to save some money for things like that. But actually, the Dell venue that I haven't used it forever. I'm thinking about getting rid of it, maybe getting a bigger tablet, or just throwing the money into the desktop. I don't know.
So, you're still wanting to? Oh, you still have that venue?
Yeah, I haven't touched it for. Oh wow, it's been probably a half a year. It's been a while.
Well, let me know if you manage to get rid of it.
Okay.
Because that you might try to just see if it'll upgrade to Windows 10, because it should be able to for free if it gets 8.1 on it.
I might keep it. I don't know if I'll still be interested though. It's a great device. I have no use for it really. I've got my MacBook, my desktop, and
because eventually I'll have an Apple computer at some point, somehow, some way, and then some Windows devices, because
I remember seeing iMac, or not an iMac, but a Mac Mini for like $200-300. It was relatively new, and like a second gen Core i5, I think. I don't remember how long ago it was that I saw it. I know you can get those really cheap, the Mac Mini, and they have the desktop grade low end Core i5s and i7s in them. And they're not expensive at all. Like you can even get a refurb one on like last year's refurbished off of Apple's site for like $420. And yeah, that's a lot for that, but you can take it apart and then upgrade it, I think. And it's got latest gen Core i5 with HD 5000 graphics, 4 gigs of RAM, 500 gig hard drive, everything.
Because like eventually I'll plan is to get like a very powerful multimedia based desktop that has more than 8 gigs of RAM and all of that, because I'm running off of 4 gigs, which is not bad at all, but it's going to start showing its limits in a year or two. And I'll have a main portable that will have, at the very least, Intel Iris Pro graphics, which I know where I can go to get that already. System 76 offers one that has that. In fact, they were the first manufacturer, actually, or among the first, to offer that, besides Apple. So,
the System 6.
Yep, I think it's called the Galago Pro or something like that.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I've actually tried to look for a bunch of them. You can find some if you go to Newegg and go to their site and then search based on the graphics chip. There's all the MacBooks show up, and then there's like only a couple, but like other than those, just a couple from specific manufacturers that are well known. You can't get anything with Iris Pro. Let me see if I can find one real quick.
Yeah, it's been really hard to find, and I hear they're going to be even improving upon that even further anyway. But it's just like, dang, it's just hard to get hold of. And then everything else will be workstations, experimental. Assuming the person I did work for tax season doesn't have any more projects for me in mind, because at some point over time it's going to come to an end at work for a little bit. It depends on our profit and how well we're doing as a store, which is part of the reason why they were allowing it in the first place, because we had so much profit that they held some of it aside and said, okay, let's allow some overtime. Mainly, and also I think mainly because our inventory auditing's coming up and all of that, so they're trying to make sure everything's taken care of.
Yeah, I don't see anything on New England at the moment. I know there for a little bit they had a couple other brands, but yeah, it was few and far between. But for System 76, they have the Gallagher Pro, Ultra Pro, which is basically an Ultrabook made by them that has Irish Pro graphics.
Oh yeah, that's the cool part. I know I will have to acquire some more monitors soon, because with all the stuff that I'm going to get together, I don't have enough monitors at the moment for it. So it's going to be very interesting over the next several months what I can accomplish. And it sounds like you're going to get quite a bit accomplished over the next couple of months yourself.
Hopefully so. I'm going to save some money from the first couple of paychecks. I got to pay a couple of things off. I got to pay some of the family off because they helped us out moving in, because I couldn't afford a down payment on any place, regardless of how cheap or expensive it was. And this fits into my budget. I'm not going to talk about the rent because I want to make people feel bad. Because the rent was, I'll put it this way, the rent is the same amount of money that I was making per month at the last job.
Right.
But on a very low end, I'm making triple that. So I can afford it.
Yeah, and right now it sounds like you're still settling in and everything else. I'm
still a broke college student at the moment. Still don't have any money.
But right now you luckily have had the meet and greets, and they're like, let's buy you lunch and all of that.
I've had to buy myself lunch a couple of days, but I had a little bit of money to be able to do that. And most of the places that a lot of people go, they usually go somewhere cheap. And yeah, it's so far it's a very, very, very nice job. I feel like I'm extremely lucky. I almost feel like I don't deserve it. It's just because it's so much different than what I'm used to. It's a really laid back atmosphere. It's good. Everybody is always willing to help. They're there for you. Like if you have questions or something, you can go ask anyone. If they don't know anything about it, like if they're not an expert in that particular thing, like if it's an Eclipse or if it's the build tools or whatever, if they're not an expert in that, they'll send you the right person and say, hey, this is the guy you need to go talk to. He's the one that knows everything about this. So,
and you're in an environment that's not so stressful either, because I personally do enjoy retail. I know it can be very stressful at times and it can be very irritating at times, and I think part of it is those who get really stressed out, they haven't learned to let go of certain things, and I'm still having to learn, okay, I cannot fix this. I don't have the ability to. I can try poking and prodding, but if people are too stubborn, they're not going to do it, so don't worry about it. Walk away and let everybody else figure it out at some point. And hey, who knows? Something may resolve itself, like, for example, Coca-Cola is now stocking the Monster Energy drinks. And no, this is not meant to be an ad placement, but they now have the 10 packs of this. I've been looking for it forever. So
is that the 0 calorie?
Yeah, it's the yeah, they changed the packaging and everything else. So it's this same stuff that I've been drinking for quite some time, but it's not bad at all. So coming weeks, coming months, I'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll keep that stocked, because they'll be in 3 times a week as opposed to, Anheuser-Busch being in like twice a week only.
Yes.
So but congratulations on your new job.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Hopefully I'll upgrade internet at some point soon. I won't be able to move anything to my designated storage area until the charter person is over here when I do go over and say, let's set something up, because this is the only cable ready room in the house in this unit. They have to go upstairs and they have to be able to get to that little wall socket and everything else on the opposite end of here. So unfortunately, I have to end the show because I got to go to work in a little over half an hour or so. So
we'll let you get off here.
All right. Entertain yourself, educate yourself, empower yourself. Hopefully we'll hear more about the local scene in Colombia, including certain parts of it I think are very lenient regarding marijuana, if memory serves correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe we can check that out.
Yep. I can't remember what all the nuances are, if it's more decriminalization sort of thing where the fines aren't so hefty or anything like that, or anything like that, but we'll see. I'd have to look into it myself.
I might do some research, ask him or something.
All right. Well, entertain yourself, educate yourself, empower yourself. This episode should be available, if not this Friday. I'll make sure it's at least available a week from now on the feed. So we'll see you all next week.
See you guys later. Take it easy.